Hello there, welcome back to Max's Cards and Dice Dugout. This is episode 184, and this time out we're at Ebbets Field for game number 66 of the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Oldtimer Kings King of the Hill tournament, which has the current Kings, the 1953 Brooklyn Dodgers, taking on the 1965 Minnesota Twins. Let's take a look at the Hill before we get to the starting lineups and the start of the game. So, in game 65, with a solid performance from Carl Erskine and some great defense, the Dodgers ruined the Yankees' hopes to make it to the Goodell Cup Finals to take on the 1954 Cleveland Indians. So now they'll face the 4-6 Minnesota Twins, the 1965 Minnesota Twins, with the 62 Giants on deck and the 61 Reds in the hole. Both of those teams at 8-6 and knocking on the door. All right. So the starting lineups for today's game. First, for the visiting 1965 Minnesota Twins, leading off Zoilo Versalles at shortstop. Batting second, center fielder Jimmy Hall. Batting third, right fielder Tony Oliva. Batting fourth at third base is Harmon Killebrew. Batting fifth in left field, Bob Allison. Batting sixth, catcher Earl Batty. Don Mincher at first base, bats seventh. Jerry Kindle at second, bats eighth. And on the mound and batting ninth is Mudcat Grant. In 1965, he was 21-7 with a 3.3 ERA, 270 innings pitched. Number 2 hitting pitcher, so he gets that card in the lineup. Now for the current Kings, the 1953 Brooklyn Dodgers, leading off at second base, Jim Gilliam. Batting second at shortstop, Pee Wee Reese. Batting third in center field, Duke Snyder. Jackie Robinson's in left field, and he bats cleanup. Batting fifth, Roy Campanella, the catcher. Batting sixth, first baseman Gil Hodges. Batting seventh, right fielder Carl Furillo. Batting eighth, third baseman Billy Cox. And on the hill and batting ninth is Russ Meyer. In 1953, he was 15-5 with a 4.57 ERA and 191 innings pitched. Number 1 hitting pitcher, so he gets that card inserted into the lineup for him. And we are ready to get underway as Zoilo Versalles steps into the batter's box. And here we go. And that's a leadoff double. Good start for the Twins. Man on second, nobody out. That brings up center fielder Jimmy Hall. Pitch from Meyer. And that is a single into right field. Versalles comes around third, and he's going to score. And just like that, it's 1-0 Minnesota. Meyer picks up a fatigue point. So we got a man on first, nobody out, and Tony Oliva. Twins lead 1-0. Oliva gets under this one. It's going to stay in the infield. Gil Hodges over at first base makes the catch. And there's one away. So 1 out, man on first for Harmon Killebrew. Pitch from Meyer. Outside, ball 4. Killebrew trots down to first. Hall moves up to second. Runners on first and second with 1 out, and Bob Allison. Twins left fielder. Here's the pitch. That's a base hit. Right up the middle. Check Hall's running. Jimmy Hall's a 1-15. There's only 1 out. He's being waved around, and he is safe at home. It's now 2-0, and that allows Killebrew to move to third and Allison to move up to second. And Russ Meyer picks up his second fatigue point. Not a good start for him. And there's already some movement out in the Dodgers bullpen. So it's second and third, nobody out. Infield's going to play normal depth. And Earl Batty comes to the plate. Here's the pitch. And trouble for Russ Meyer. That's another base hit. It's going to score 2 more runs. And it's 4-0. And only 1 out. And now there is some activity out in the Dodgers bullpen. And that's Clem Labine. He's going to start warming up. Because there appears to be something wrong with Russ Meyer. So runner on first, 1 out. And the Twins already lead 4-0. That was a 2 RBI single for Earl Batty. That's going to bring up Don Mincher. Here's the pitch. And Mincher hits this one in the left field. It's off the wall. It gets away from Robinson. It's rolling back towards the infield. Batty comes around third. He's going to score. It's 5-0. And Don Mincher slides into third base with a 1-out RBI triple. And Russ Meyer picks up fatigue points 3, 4, and 5. I forgot to mark them down. And he's in trouble here. So man on third with 1 out. It's already 5-0 Twins here in the top of the first. And the pitch from Meyer. Another pop-up that's going to stay in the infield, and another play for Gil Hodges, and there are 2 away. Clem Labine's just about ready if Meyer cannot get out of this jam. Man on third, 2 outs, and Mudcat Grant. Yeah, it's a ground ball to short. Pee Wee Reese over to Gil Hodges. 9 batters come up for the Twins here in the top of the first. 5 runs on 4 hits. 1 man left. And after a half inning of play, it's the Twins 5 and the Dodgers nothing. And Russ Meyer's going to pick up fatigue point number 6 after that rough half inning. All right, Mudcat Grant comes out into this one with a 5-run cushion. And leading off for the Dodgers is second baseman Jim Gilliam. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to right field. Antonio Leave is under that, and there's 1 away. Brings up Pee Wee Reese. Dodgers shortstop. Pitch. It's a ground ball to third. Excuse me, but it's an X check for Harmon Killebrew. He's a 4, and we roll a 7. And that's off Killebrew's glove. And Reese is safe at first on the E5. So 1 error for Minnesota. Man on first with 1 out. And center fielder Duke Snyder. Pitch from Mudcat Grant. It's a ground ball to shortstop. Another X check. But this time it's for Kendall. No, not Kendall. Zoilo Versalis. And let's see. Versalis is a 2. And we roll a 1. And he can't make a play on that. And it goes into left field for a base hit. Pee Wee Reese moves up to second. It's first and second with 1 out. And Jackie Robinson. Pitch from Grant. It's a fly ball to left field. Bob Allison's under that, makes the catch. Runners hold, and there are 2 away. You have to excuse me, allergies are bothering me today. So first and second, 2 outs, and Roy Campanella. Here's the pitch. Dodgers are going to get on the board here. Campanella hits one into the gap in left center for a double. Reese comes around to score. Let's check Duke Snider's running. He's a 1-16 with 2 outs. That makes him a 1-18. He's coming home, and he is safe. Campanella holds up at second with the 2-out, 2 RBI double. And it's 5-2. Mudcat Grant picks up 2 fatigue points for those runs. And that's going to bring up Gil Hodges, Dodgers first baseman. Man on second, 2 outs. Pitch from Grant. And it's a ground ball to first baseman Mincher. He's going to take that unassisted to end the inning. But the Dodgers do pick up 2 runs on 2 hits. 1 man left on. And after 1 inning of play, it's the Twins 5 and the Dodgers 2. Excuse me again. Mudcat Grant gets his 3rd fatigue point. Russ Meyer is coming back out. Clem Labine is ready to go if needed. And leading things off here in the top of the second is Zoilo Versalles. He's 1 for 1 with a run scored. Here's a pitch from Meyer. And make Versalles 2 for 2 because he just hits. Hold on a second here. That's a deep fly ball to center field that sends Duke Snider back to the wall. It's way up, out of here, gone. A solo shot for Zoilo Versalles. And it's now 6-2. And Russ Meyer picks up another fatigue point, and his day is done. So the new pitcher for the Dodgers is Clem Labine. Excuse me again. In 1953, Labine was 11-6 with a 2.78 ERA, 110 innings pitched. And first batter he's going to face is Jimmy Hall. Here's the pitch. This one's going to stay in the infield. And Cox is underneath that over at third base for the first out. So 1 out. Nobody on. Tony Oliva. Oliva's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Man, that's a strikeout. Out number 2 here in the top of the second. First strikeout for Labine. And that brings up Harmon Killebrew. Killebrew walked his first time up and scored a run. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to center field. And that sends Duke Snider back to the track where he makes the catch for the 3rd out. But the Twins do pick up another run on Zoilo Versalles' solo shot. 1 run on 1 hit, no one left on base. And after 1.5, it's the Twins 6 and the Dodgers 2. Labine picks up his first fatigue point. First batter for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the second is Carl Ferrullo. Right fielder. Here's a pitch from Grant. And it's a ground ball back to Grant. He trots over towards first base and tosses to Doug Mincher for the first out. 1-3 put out, 1 away. Third baseman Billy Cox is next. Pitch from Grant. It's a ground ball to second base. Jerry Kindle to Doug Mincher. 2 up, 2 down. As we get to the pitcher spot. Now, Clem Labine is also a #1 hitting pitcher, and he's going to bat here. And a pitch from Grant. It's a strikeout to end the inning. First strikeout for Mudcat Grant. And the Dodgers go 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no one left on after 2. It's the Twins 6, Dodgers 2. Grant picks up fatigue point number 4. All right, we go to the top of the third. And leading things off for the Twins is Bob Allison. Allison is 1 for 1 with a run scored. Here's the pitch. Make Allison 2 for 2 because he hits another one in the left field. It's off the wall. Jackie Robinson can't get to it. It rolls away from him. Allison rounds second and slides into third with a leadoff triple. Second triple for the Twins in this game, and we're only in the top of the third inning. So a man on third with nobody out and Earl Batty. And this time, the Dodgers are bringing the infield in. Here's the pitch. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Labine. And there's 1 away. Infield staying in for Don Mincher. Here's the pitch. Mincher gets under this one. And Pee Wee Reese calls everyone out, makes the catch out there at shortstop. Now there are 2 away. Infield goes back to normal depth, and Jerry Kindle comes to the plate. Kindle's 0 for 1. Man on third. That's Bob Allison. Here's the pitch. And that's a strikeout. Number 2 for Labine to end the inning. So no runs on 1 hit, 1 man left. And after 2.5, it's the Twins 6 and the Dodgers 2. So Labine gets his second fatigue point. Mudcat Grant here in the bottom of the third is going to face Jim Gilliam first. We're back to the top of the order for the Brooklyn Dodgers. Here's the pitch. Gilliam gets under this one. And then Doug Mincher over there, first base, makes the catch. 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on. And Pee Wee Reese. Pitch. It's a ground ball to third baseman. Harm Killebrew over to Mincher for the 5-3 put out. And that's the second out. So 2 outs, nobody on. Brings up Duke Snider. Snyder's 1 for 1 with a run scored. He's singled back in the first. Pitch from Grant. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 2 for Mudcat. And the Dodgers go 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no one left on. 3 complete. And the Twins lead this one 6-2. Mudcat Grant picks up another fatigue point. That puts him at 5. And Grant's going to lead things off for the Twins here in the top of the fourth, where they lead 6-2. Here's the pitch from Labine. It's a fly ball to right field, but it's going to be an X check for Carl Ferrillo. He's a 1. We roll a 19. Probably rolling again. Yes, we are. We roll a 7. And a nice play out there. Running catch from Carl Ferrillo for the first out. So 1 out, back to the top of the order. Zolo Versalis, who homered his last time up. He's 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored and an RBI homer. Here's the pitch. Make that 3 for 3s. He hits one right up the middle for a base hit. Makes the turn at first, but he's going to stay there. So we got a man on first with 1 out, and Jimmy Hall. Twins lead 6-2. Here's the pitch. Hall gets under this one. Jim Gilliam at second base makes the catch for the 2nd out. So 2 outs, man on first for Tony Oliva. Oliva is 0 for 2. Pitch from Levine. That's a ground ball to Jim Gilliam over to Gil Hodges. 4-3 put out ends the inning. So in the top of the 4th for the Twins, no runs on 1 hit, 1 man left on. We've played 3.5, and it's the Twins 6 and the Dodgers 2. So Levine gets fatigue point number 3. And here in the bottom of the 4th, leading things off for the Dodgers will be Jackie Robinson. Robinson is 0 for 1. Pitch from Grant. And that one's hit on the ground. Jerry Kindle over to Doug Mincher for the 1st out. So 1 out, nobody on. And Roy Campanella, Dodgers catcher. Campanella's 1 for 1. He hit a double that drove in 2 runs back in the top of the 1st. Here's the pitch. This time he puts it on the ground. Harmon Killebrew over to Doug Mincher for the 2nd out. 2 outs, nobody on. And first baseman Gil Hodges. Pitch from Grant. This time it's to Zoilo Versalis. He scoops that one up over to Mincher. 3 ground outs in this one, in this inning, I should say. And the Dodgers go 1-2-3, no runs, no hits, no one left on. And after 4 innings, it's the Twins 6 and the Dodgers 2. Grant picks up fatigue point number 6. Levine's at 3, and he's going to face Harmon Killebrew, leading things off here in the top of the 5th. Just the pitch. And Killebrew walks again. That's the 2nd walk he's drawn on a pitch that was way inside. So he's down there at first. Nobody out. And Bob Allison. Allison's 2 for 2 with a run scored. Here's the pitch. This time he hits a ground ball to 3rd base. And Cox is going to fire to Gilliam covering 2nd to get Killebrew on the force for the 1st out. And Allison will reach on a fielder's choice. So we still got a man on first, but 1 out now, Earl Batty. And Batty's 1 for 2 with a run scored and a couple RBIs. Here's the pitch. He gets under this one. And Pee Wee Reese is there to make the catch for the 2nd out. And Allison is there at first. So a man on first with 2 outs. And Don Mincher. Pitch. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Levine to end the inning. So, for the Twins, no runs, no hits, 1 man left on. 4.5 have been played, and the Twins lead this one 6-2. And Levine gets fatigue point number 4. And the first batter Mudcat Grant is going to face here in the bottom of the 5th is Carl Furillo. Furillo's 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to deep center field. Jimmy Hall back to the track, makes the catch for out number 1. So 1 out, nobody on, and Billy Cox. Pitch from Grant. Yeah, that's a 1-out single. Cox hits that one into right field. Makes the turn at first, but he's going to hold there. And that brings up Clem Labine. He's going to bat because these benches are short in these old-timer card sets. All right, so man on first. No trickery from the Dodgers here. He's swinging away. It's a ground ball to second base, and it's going to be an X check for Kindle. He's a 2. And we roll a 2. And he can't make a play on that, so Labine gets a base hit. Cox moves up to second, so there's runners on first and second with 1 out. And back to the top of the order, and Jim Gilliam. And Gilliam's 0 for 2 so far in this one. Here's the pitch from Grant. Ground ball to short. Going to be another X check. This time it's Zoilo Versalles. He's a 2. You roll a 15. And Versalles makes a nice play. Fires to Kindle covering second. Over to Mincher for a 6-4-3 inning-ending, rally-stopping double play. So, no runs for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the 5th on 2 hits and 2 men left on. So we've played 5, and it's a Twins 6, Dodgers 2. And Mudcat Grant gets fatigue point number 7. Actually, he should be at 8. 2 runs. Oh, no, excuse me, 7. All right, so things have settled down after that first inning. And leading things off for the Twins here in the top of the 6th is Jerry Kindle. Kindle is 0 for 2. Pitch from Labine. And it's a ground ball to short. Pee Wee Reese over to Gil Hodges, and there's 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on for Mudcat Grant. Grant's 0 for 2. Pitch from Labine. And this one's popped up. Gil Hodges is under it over there at first base. And there are 2 away. So 2 outs, nobody on. Back to the top of the order for the Twins and Zoilo Versalles, who is 3 for 3. Couple runs scored, a home run. He's having a good game. Here's the pitch. He gets under this one, goes into the outfield, where Duke Snider's under that, near the track, and makes the catch for the 3rd out. So here in the top of the 6th for the Twins, no runs, no hits, no one left on. 5.5 in the books, and it's the Twins 6, the Dodgers 2. Clem Labine, fatigue point number 5. First batter Mudcat Grant's going to face here in the bottom of the 6th is Pee Wee Reese. Reese is 0 for 2. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to center field. Jimmy Hall's under that, makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down. Brings up Duke Snider. Snider's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Pitch. It's a ground ball to short. It's going to be an X check for Zoilo Versalles. He's a 2. You roll a 20. And a diving stop from his knees. Fires over to Mincher at first. And they get Snider by a half step. Another great play by Versalles. And there are 2 away. Brings up Jackie Robinson. Okay. That's in the wrong place. And that was a 6-3 put out. Ay. Okay. Jackie Robinson, who is 0 for 2. Pitch from Grant. Almost hits Robinson. He trots down to first base, has a few words for Mudcat. All's good. So man on first with 2 outs, Roy Campanella. Campanella's 1 for 2. Pitch. It's a catcher's card X. Earl Batty's a 2. Roll to 13. And that one gets by Batty. Robinson goes down to second on the pass ball. And the next pitch to Campanella, he gets underneath that in foul territory near the Dodgers dugout. Earl Batty makes the catch to end the inning. So no runs, no hits, 1 man left on. 6 complete, and the score remains Twins 6 and the Dodgers 2. Grant gets fatigue point number 8. Then we go to the top of the 7th and the top of the order. Or excuse me, not the top of the order. Jimmy Hall's batting in the number 2 spot. But he's going to lead things off. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to right field. Carl Furillo's under that, makes the catch. There's 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on, and Tony Oliva. Oliva is 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Clem Levine, and there are 2 away here in the top of the 7th. So 2 outs, nobody on, and Harmon Killebrew. Killebrew's 0 for 1. He's walked twice and has scored a run. Pitch from Levine. Hits this one on the ground over to third base. And Billy Cox fires over to Gil Hodges to end the top of the 7th. No runs, no hits, no one left on. And as we stretch them, it's the Twins 6 and the Dodgers 2. And Levine will pick up fatigue point number 6. Now he's a reliever and gets fatigued after 7. So he's going to probably be coming out soon. All right, we go to the bottom of the 7th. Mudcat Grant is at 8 fatigue points. As a starter, he's good until he hits 12. At 11, I should say. Okay, so leading things off for the Dodgers is Gil Hodges. He's 0 for 2. Pitch from Grant. Hodges is going to get on with the leadoff single here. Makes the turn at first, but he's got to hold. Brings up Carl Furillo. Furillo's also 0 for 2. Here's the pitch. It's a fly ball to left field. Bob Allison's under that, makes the catch. It's 1 away. Hodges holds it first, and that'll bring up third baseman Billy Cox. Cox is 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. Make that 2 for 3 as he hits this 1-out single into shallow left field, and Hodges has to hold it second. So there's runners on first and second with 1 out. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Clem Levine. Levine's pitched well since coming in for Russ Meyer. And that is going to be Bobby Morgan pinch hitting and warming up for the Dodgers is Billy Lowe's. All right, so Bobby Morgan's going to pinch hit for Clem Labine. Runners on first and second with one out. No activity in the Twins bullpen as of yet. Here's the pitch. And that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3, for Mudcat Grant. And a big second out here. All right, so 2 outs and back to the top of the order for the Dodgers. That's Jim Gilliam. Gilliam's 0 for 3. Pitch from Grant. Inside, and Gilliam trots down to first, and that's going to load the bases up with 2 outs. So bases loaded with 2 outs for Pee Wee Reese. Can the Dodgers cut into that Twins lead here? Here's the pitch. And yes, they can, because Reese hits a single. So that's definitely going to score Hodges. And let's check Cox's running. He's getting waved around. He's a 1 to 14. 2 outs makes him a 16. And he is safe at home. Throw is not in time. So Cox scores. Now it's 6 to 4. And that allows Gilliam and Reese to move up 90 feet. So they're at second and third with 2 outs. And Mudcat Grant picks up fatigue points 9 and 10. And Jim Merritt is warming up for the Twins. So it's second and third with 2 outs. Reese gets 2 RBIs on that. And the score is now 6 to 4. That's going to bring up Duke Snyder. And this guy can give the Dodgers the lead with 1 swing. Right now they trail by 2, 6-4. Runners on second and third. Snyder represents the go-ahead run. Here's the pitch from Grant. And he strikes out. Duke Snyder, strikeout number 4 to end the inning. But the Dodgers do pick up 2 runs on 2 hits. 2 men left. And after 7 complete, the score is now Twins 6 and the Dodgers 4. And Mudcat Grant gets another fatigue point. He's at 11, so his day is done. And Clem Labine's day is done. As the new pitcher for the Dodgers is Billy Lowe's. In 1953, Lowe's was 14 and 8 with a 4.53 ERA and 163 innings pitched. And the first batter he's going to face is Bob Allison here in the top of the 8th. Twins have a 2-run lead, 6-4. And here's the pitch from Lowe's. It's a fly ball to right field. It's going to be an X check for Carl Furillo. He's a 1, rolling 9. And a running catch from Furillo is the first out here in the top of the 8th. Brings up Twins catcher Earl Batty. Batty is 1 for 3. Excuse me. 0 for 2. Nope, 1 for 3 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. Pitch. Hits this one on the ground. Billy Cox over to Gil Hodges. Excuse me. There are 2 away. Here in the top of the 8th. All right, brings up Don Mincher. Pitch. And Mincher lines this one right at Pee Wee Reese for out number 3. So here in the top of the 8th, Twins go 1, 2, 3, no runs, no hits, no one left on. 7.5 complete, and the Twins lead this one 6-4. And Lowe's gets his first fatigue point. Jim Merritt's ready for the Dodgers. And he is going to replace Mudcat Grant here. So in 1965, Jim Merritt was 5-4 with a 3.16 ERA, 77 innings pitched. He's listed as a starter reliever. And the first batter he's going to face is Jackie Robinson. Who is 0 for 2 with a walk. It's the bottom of the 8th. Twins lead 6-4. Here's the pitch. And Robinson gets a hold of this one, and that's going to send Bob Allison back to the track, to the wall, where he makes the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. And Jim Merritt has a sigh of relief. That brings up Roy Campanella. Here's the pitch. And that's a strikeout. For the second out. First strikeout for Merritt. 2 outs, nobody on. Gil Hodges. Pitch from Merritt. Low and outside. 2-out walk. Sends Hodges down to first base. Oh, he's there with 2 away. And Carl Furillo, who represents the tying run, he's 0 for 3. Pitch from Merritt. And Furillo gets a hold of this one. And Tony Oliva back to the track, to the wall, makes the catch. 2 long, loud outs from the Dodgers here in the bottom of the 8th. But to no avail. No runs, no hits. 1 man left on. After 8 innings, it's the Twins 6 and the Dodgers 4. Jim Merritt gets fatigue point number 1. And leading things off for the Twins here in the top of the 9th is Jerry Kindle. Kindle's 0 for 3. And strikes him out for 0 for 4. First strikeout for Lowe's. There's 1 away here in the top of the 9th. Pitcher spots up. And going to get a pinch hitter for Merritt. So Jim Merritt's day is done. And it's going to be Sandy Valdespino, utility outfielder. He's going to pinch hit for Merritt. With 1 away here in the top of the 9th. All right, so here's the pitch from Lowe's to Valdespino. It's a ground ball back to Lowe's, but it's an X check. He's a 2. We roll a 6. And Lowe's scoops that one up, tosses over to Gil Hodges. Nice play by Lowe's for the second out. And we go back to the top of the order as Valdespino is retired. Zoilo Versalles comes to the plate. Versalles is 3 for 4 with a home run and an RBI. And some great play in the field on defense. So here's the pitch from Lowe's. It's a ground ball to his counterpart, Pee Wee Reese. Over to Gil Hodges. And the Twins go 1, 2, 3 in the top of the ninth. No runs, no hits, no one left on. Played 8.5, and the score remains Twins 6 and the Dodgers 4. Lowe's gets fatigue point number 2. Now, as mentioned, Jim Merritt's day is done. John Klippenstein is the new pitcher for the Twins. And in 1965, he was 9-3 with a 2.25 ERA, 76 innings pitched. He is a pure relief pitcher, so his fatigue is 4. And leading things off for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the ninth is Billy Cox, be followed by the pitcher spot, and back to the top of the order in Jim Gilliam. So here we go with Cox. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball to second. Going to be Kindle to Mincher, and there's one away. That brings up the pitcher spot, which right now is Billy Lowe's, but he is going to be substituted for. And it's going to be George Shuba. One out, nobody on. Shuba's going to pinch hit for Billy Lowe's. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball back to Klippenstein, and he tosses over to Mincher for the second out. So the Dodgers are down for their last chance, and it's the top of the order, Jim Gilliam. Pitch. And that's a 2-out single for Gilliam right up the middle. So the tying run's going to come to the plate. And that's Pee Wee Reese. Pitch from Klippenstein. That's a ground ball to first baseman Mincher. He's going to take that one unassisted to end the game. So for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the ninth, no runs on one hit, one man left. And this one's over. Final score is the Twins 6 and the Dodgers 4. Turned out to be a competitive game. Things started off pretty shaky for the Dodgers. They creeped back into it. Things settled down, and we ended up with a 6-4 game. So first, let's get some numbers for you. For the Twins, 6 runs on 7 hits. They committed 1 error. Dodgers 4 runs on 7 hits. No errors. Winning pitcher, Mudcat Grant. Loss goes to Russ Meyer. And John Klippenstein gets the save. So we have a new King of the Hill in the 1965 Minnesota Twins. And they will take on the San Francisco Giants in game number 67 of this Strat-O-Matic Baseball Oldtimer Kings King of the Hill tournament. If you hung out with me, I appreciate it. And I'll be back again in the near future with another video. And until then, take care.